When people mouth off, it's always saying, I'm insecure. They're a bunch of wimps. So you just remember that now. I want you to listen to me, not to the wimps. I said to my son and my daughters at about 11, I said, now you kids are going to hear this phrase. Every one of you, probably half of you have heard this. You all will eventually. I said, son, you're going to hear this phrase. Well, if you love me, you'll have sex with me. If you really love me, you would. I said, son, is that a true statement? He said, no. Almost every one of you would say no. But then I'd ask you this, why? I have never had a teenager to this day explain to me why that is not a true statement. I want to explain it to you. I said, son, if you love me and have sex with me is not a true statement. Why? It neither protects nor provides. It's not an act of love. You with me? To love means to protect and provide. When somebody says to you, if you love me, have sex with me, that's not an act of love. Why? Because it neither protects you nor provides for me. Let me tell you why. There's some of you sitting here. Some of you think you're so smart. Well, you're not. You're probably dumber than I am. I'm serious. There's some of you sitting here, especially some of you guys and some of you gals, you think you're so smart. You think you can play around sexually and you'll beat the odds. Hear me. I can prove to you, you will not beat the odds. I can prove it to you. I wrote a whole book on it called Why True Love Waits. You might think you're so smart. Because most of you think with your pelvis, not most of you, some of you think with your pelvis, not with your mind. An aroused hormone has no conscience. 17 non-curable sexually transmitted diseases. You think you're so smart? Look at one of them. Look at just one of them, HPV. Human papillomavirus. I bet 95% of you don't even know what that means. Young ladies, it's the #1 sexually transmitted disease in America. I bet you didn't know that. And you know what? With HPV, human papillomas, young ladies, in the last 5 years, more women every year has died from HPV than HIV and AIDS, and you don't even know anything about it. I bet you girls didn't know that, did you? More are dying of you young ladies from HPV than HIV, and you don't even know anything about it. You know what they found at UCLA Medical School? That cervical and vulvar cancer in you young ladies is epidemic, folks. Every one of you should know that. It's pandemic. It's off the charts, cervical cancer in young ladies. Do you know what they found? In 99% of all cases of cervical cancer in women, they find the sexually transmitted virus HPV. And this caused the Centers for Disease Control, the #1 experts in the world in disease, young lady, 4 years ago, they declared, and it shocked the medical world, when they said cancer is a sexually transmitted disease. You think you'll beat the odds? 6,949 teenagers today will get a sexually transmitted disease. 3.5 million this year. That's not over 4 years of high school. That's in 1 year. And you think you're so smart you'll beat the odds? No, you won't. Look at HPV. Killing more women than HIV and AIDS. No cure for it. They did a study in the universities of America right now of all girls, of all women in the universities right now who have ever had sex even just one time at, say, 14 years old. 63% of them are right now infected with HPV. Whoa! And there's no cure. Killing more women than HIV and AIDS. You think you'll beat the odds? Here's the problem, girls. You girls better wise up, because why? You pay more of the consequences than any man ever will for this reason. And I'll guarantee you, no adults probably ever told this to you. They could never understand for years why young women getting sexually transmitted diseases was 4 or 5 times greater than any man. Now they know why. Several reasons. Most of these diseases incubate and grow in an environment that is warm, moist, and non-oxygen. It's not a man's penis. It's a girl's vagina. Smarten up, girls. Let the guys laugh. When a guy pulls out, the air almost always kills it. It leaves it in the girl. That's what they found out. Hey, the other reason is this. They couldn't understand why young women up to 21, 22 years old are so vulnerable to sexually transmitted disease, and they found out why. Inside your private sex organs, the way God made you, your skin, the cells are very soft and absorbent. And when you have sex and there's a disease, your cells literally operate like factories. They take the bars right in and multiply it up until you're about 22 to 24 years old. Then inside your private sexual areas, the cells, the membranes in the cells harden. And it's so much more difficult to catch a sexually transmitted virus because they can't act as a factory. Girls, you better smarten up.
It's better to save yourself for your husband, so that when you actually do give yourself, you can give your all to him, and you could be pure in God's word.
I learned that you should save your sex for marriage because it's very important for you and God. And if you really love someone, you will save your marriage, save your sex till marriage.
Saving my sex is the most important thing that God has, one of the most important things that God has commanded us to do. And it's definitely something that was already in my heart, but is even placed more deeper into my heart. So, now more than ever, I understand how important, saving yourself is until marriage.
I learned that it's important to save it for someone who loves you, and the right meaning of love, not someone else's meaning, but your own. And if you save it, it'll be special.
Just wait until your marriage, wait for the one that you really love, and then it's just a great thing.
Wait until your marriage is going to be the greatest thing ever that God has for us, and it's just truly an amazing thing.
A couple of things. First and foremost, man, I think Chicago is one of the few cities that I come to where I meet ministers of the gospel who really, really want to win their city. Most people do it because they feel a burden to do work of the ministry, but people here are in love with winning souls and changing lives. So that's first thing. I love the city for that, sincerely. Secondly, honestly, I grew up with a very promiscuous background. My parents weren't believers. And I see now, looking back on my life, the trouble and danger that it got me into from a natural standpoint all the way to a spiritual standpoint of when I'm not walking in purity, when I'm not walking in strong godly morality. So I would say first and foremost, save sex for marriage because God commands it. Secondly, because it is such a benefit to your life. One of the things in the Old Testament that you see, Solomon, Moses, individuals who deal with the heart, when you fall into sin, in Jewish custom, they believe you lost a bit of your soul. Like who you were as a whole individual was taken away from every time you fell into sin. And so you end up losing a bit of yourself. You lose who you are. And then lastly, I would say honestly, because when you take that baggage into a marital relationship, it brings so much pain and heartache to your spouse, to your family, to your lifestyle. It ends up taking away from what you could be in your family relationships. So much that you could say about it. My heart is that people here won't let age or their desire to fit in rob them of the benefits of being pure.